Pizza delivery drivers of Reddit, what was the most fucked up place you've ever stopped at? I once delivered to a guy living under his porch, if that counts. I drove up to the house. It's pitch black. No lights on. I look at the ticket and it says use back door. I go up the steps and no lights on. Nothing. Then I hear a voice from below me say, "Hey, down here." I look under the porch and there's a small door leading into what looked like a makeshift apartment. I had to actually crouch to get to it. Gave the guy the pizza and bounced the duck out of there. I worked as a delivery driver for a very small Italian restaurant pizzeria during my first semester of college. This one time I delivered pizza to a swingers party. It wasn't like on the set of a porno or anything. He straight up told me when I was like having a party. Because he ordered 12 pizzas. He answered that this was his first swingers party and he just wanted to be sure everyone was having a good time. Someone ordered pizzas to a funeral. There were a ton of people there, all somber and dressed in black while I rolled up in my bright red greasy t-shirt. Lol. Definitely one of the most awkward experiences I've had. You just reminded me my husband delivered to an older woman who ended up dying during the time it took for him to get there after she placed the call, 20 minutes. He said he showed up as they were loading her up into an ambulance, I think, and that the family was standing around watching and he didn't know what to do, so he gave it to one of the family members, who paid for it, and left. Haha, this is great. So sorry for your loss. So who is paying for the pizza now? Stay around for the reading of the will. 1 hour later, and to the person who delivered pizza to my funeral party, I bequeath 30 million used. That sounds like a straight-to-TV movie where some eccentric billionaire who didn't want to give their estate to any of their a-hole kids came up with some grand scheme to keep it from them. Bet at least one of them tries to trick you out of the money or tries to kill you. Called the Big Slice 30-something slacker pizza delivery guy Peppy has been delivering to the same billionaire estate for a decade, same crazy pizza order, same case soda, same generous tip from the butler he meets at the gate each weekend, until one day he rolls up and finds an ambulance carting away the bolter, only to find out that's Lord Rowney himself. He didn't even have a butler. Fast forward to the will reading and the Rowney kids are all 30-somethings too. And all assholes only there to get what they think it Therese, after each burning through large trust funds, each happily all joking about not knowing their father. Peppy shows up as requested by lawyer, hoping that it will get him the $500 he was owed for that final delivery, as his asshole boss took out of his paycheck, meaning he wasn't going to be able to pay rent this month. But that $500 turned out to be $500 million, the big slice of the estate. The siblings are pissed and each try to take down our hero, by implicating him in crimes or legal issues, only for his customers to back him up as witnesses and a judge to be one of his fave customers throwing out the case. The final showdown being one of the siblings buys his workplace and every other pizza joint in town to demolish them. You will never deliver pizza again. Only for Peppy to realize, you know what, time to stop being a slacker, and spends a large wedge of the money opening an awesome pizza joint and calls it Peppy Rowney. I didn't end up delivering the pizza, but the address was an abandoned house. It was around dusk and the house was so obviously uninhabited, I could see trees growing through the windows and the backside of the house was crumbling so badly I could see to the backyard. From the street. The instructions were to come around back. I double-checked the address after locking my doors, called the customer a couple of times, called the store and told them what was up and why I wasn't delivering the pizza, and headed out. I mean, seriously, who would have been dumb enough to go to the back of that house? The neighborhood crack house is blacklisted from every pizza place in my city because drivers would get robbed on every delivery to that address. Calls pizza joint to get a pizza. Get ready to rob delivery driver. Pizza joint sends cops instead. I if this counts as ducked up, but it always makes me laugh when I think back to it. I delivered pizza to a house where an older guy walks out in a robe sorta mumbling. I hand him the food, he hands me a 20, I tell him it's 24. He mumbles okay and waddles back into the house, comes back and hands me another 20. I go to my pocket to get change and he slams the door on me. #X200B, I also once delivered to an older woman who tells me to come in the side door. The food is about $34 and she hands me what I think is 40 and is really sweet, asking me how I'm doing and all that. I get back into my car and realize it's actually $60 and 2 of the 20s were sorta stuck together. I go back into her house to let her know and she says, "Oh, I know. It's for gas and whatever else you might need." I always remember that lady because it was just such a random nice thing to do and really made my day. One time someone asked what the most I've been tipped is. I said $20. They then gave me $25. Damn, should said $95. Tongue. If it was Shaq, then you coulda set any number and his ego woulda forced him to top it. Better yet, say Charles Barkley tipped you $50,000 and I guarantee you he will tip something even more crazy. This is so specific and accurate. For real, I just imagine Shaq like Chuck tipped you $50,000. I gotta give you at least 55 now. I was delivering chicken, KFC, not pizza, but my worst stop was pathetic, really. I knock on the door, I hear a kid yell I got it, he opens the door, and runs up the stairs yelling to his friends the chicken asshole's here. The chicken asshole's here, after which a crowd of about 8 preteens at the top of the stairs start throwing change down the stairs at me to pay for the delivery. I asked if they could hand me the money, they laugh and just throw the quarters time a sec. Harder. So I picked up the bag of food, winged it up the stairs at them, it hit the wall, and I split. Told the boss what happened, and if they call to complain I won't listen or apologize, I'll just quit if he brings it up. I found out later he did get a call and told them to get stuffed. Good boss. Flinging the chicken at them must have been satisfying as hell. I can only hope the little ducks had to steam clean mashed potatoes and gravy and coleslaw out of their carpet. They're not gonna clean anything. I delivered to a drug house a few times, it was always obvious that these guys were selling a sing, but it never bothered me as they usually tipped well. This one time I got there, rang the bell and a baggie of, I'm guessing coke or heroin, I have no idea, slipped under the door. Not sure what to do, I decided to kick it back under the door and leave. Not super ducked up, but I think about it a lot. I delivered subs, but one of our regular clients was an old lady in a nursing home who thought it was 1940s or something. She was super nice, but nobody would deliver to her because she would only tip you like 25 cents because again, she was living way in the past. But I loved to sit and talk with her, so I always volunteered to do it. The nurses would pay the tip if they saw me, but usually I only got a quarter. Her delusional state was heartbreaking, she was for the most part lucid aside from not realizing what year it was. She'd give me hair makeup tips, loved to talk about men and always told me stories about her husband, but seemed unsure of where he was because she never mentioned him dying or if he visits. Editing for those who seem to be convinced that either me or her is lying, she didn't pay for the food, she obviously had dementia. The nurses called the order in, we had the card info and we sent the order. If the delivery person didn't run into a nurse or find one to let them know the delivery was made, we didn't get a tip. She wasn't scamming us out of our tip, she was mentally unsound. The nurses even warned me upon meeting her that she will probably think she's way back in time and to find them for the tip. Usually I didn't run into them and I felt bad hunting one down to ask for money when the old lady thought she had already tipped me. I don't know what kind of world you live in, but in the real one not everyone is out to get you. I was once tasked with installing a secure door on the Alzheimer's wing of a retirement home. There was a guy who kept coming up to me asking if I would buy his horse. Every day for a week he and I would dicker over the price, and every day he'd head off to fetch the horse, going further back into the facility. Sweet old man, thankfully he was unaware that he was unaware. I like to imagine him rolling up to the door with a purebred stallion the day after you finished installation and left for good. This mother ducker haggled for my horse and left without it. For a week. GPS led me to my city's hospital. After getting directions from a lot of employees I finally found the room. I'll admit now, I really should have paid more attention to the signs but was in rush and didn't bother. Luckily there was a nurse already in this lady's room. I was just going to walk in and drop food off when the nurse starts shaking her hands and rushes to me. No, you can't come in here. This is isolation. Oh, I'm sorry. She ordered a delivery. She went back in the room and asked the lady if she ordered delivery and I heard the lady say yes. I overheard the nurse tell her you should have told me. Nurse comes back to me to grab food and told me if I had walked in the room I was not be let back out or something along those lines. Threw me for a loop. Haha, I will pay more attention now. I promise. No, you can't come in here. This is isolation. Why would an immunocompromised individual order pizza? Told me if I had walked in the room I was not be let back out or something along those lines. Oh, that kind of isolation. I didn't even think about bad immunity. I've seriously been wondering what that lady could have been in isolation for. Also, what if the nurse hadn't been there? Left me with so many questions. You definitely avoided contracting SARS or the T virus. TB, MRSA, meningitis, whooping cough, measles, chickenpox, pneumonia, influenza, scabies, C. diff. So many fun possibilities.